Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Magnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Tivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. A1938 Shita Vishikahato Vishirnadhamshaha Shataja Paripluta Atatayino me Kasabham Abhisasara Mad Vadartham Bhavatu me Bhagavan Gatir Mukundaha. May he, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me, as if angry, because the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered, and his body was smeared with blood due to the wound. Okay, can I request somebody to read the purport? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That is Pranam.
Yeah,
I'll just read from the book, Prabhu. This is too small. I'm joining with the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I just get the book. 1.3 point?
1.9.38.
Sorry, 9. We are stuck at 3, so I'm 3.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, can I read in the meantime? She can take over.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
dealings.
please.
Yeah, thank you. The dealings of Lord Krishna and Bhishmadeva on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are interesting because the activities of the Lord Sri Krishna appear to be partial to Arjuna and at enmity with Bhishmadev. But factually, all this was especially meant to show special favor to Bhishmadev, a great devotee of the Lord. The astounding feature of such dealing is that a pure devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. The Lord, being absolute, can accept service from his pure devotee even in the garb of an enemy. The Supreme Lord cannot have any enemy, nor can a so-called enemy harm him because he is Ajita or unconquerable. But still, he takes pleasure when his pure devotee beats him like an enemy or rebukes him from a superior position, although no one can be superior to the Lord. These are some of the transcendental reciprocatory dealings of the devotees with the Lord. And those who have no information of pure devotee service cannot penetrate into the mystery of such dealings. Bhishmadev played the part of a valiant warrior, and he purposely pierced the body of the Lord so that to the common eyes it appeared that the Lord was wounded, but factually all this was to bewilder the non-devotees. Mataji, have you found it? Or shall I continue?
Yes, Mataji, found it.
You can start.
The all spiritual body cannot be wounded, and a devotee cannot become the enemy of the Lord. Had it been so, Bhishmadev would not have desired to have the very same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life. Had Bhishmadeva been an enemy of the Lord, Lord Krishna could have annihilated him without even moving. There was no need to come before Bhishmadeva with blood and wounds, but he did so because the warrior devotee wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord decorated with wounds created by a pure devotee. This is the way of exchanging transcendental rasa or relations between the Lord and the servitor. By such dealings, both the Lord and the devotee become glorified in their respective positions. The Lord was so angry that Arjuna checked him when he was moving towards Bhishmadeva. But in spite of Arjuna's checking, he proceeded towards Bhishmadeva as a lover goes to the lover without caring for hindrances. Apparently, his determination was to kill Bhishmadeva, but factually, it was to please him as a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is undoubtedly the deliverer of all conditioned souls. The impersonalists desire salvation from him, and he always awards them according to their aspiration. But here, Bhishmadeva aspires to see the Lord in his personal feature. All pure devotees aspire for this. Haribol.
Yeah, thank you. So, anything? Anybody noticed anything for discussion? Any points?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Yeah.
that the Lord can do anything to please his devotees. He can even come in the garb of an enemy, leave alone a friend. Like here with Bhishma Dev, like they are both playing the opposite roles in the army, and but the Lord, to keep Bhishma Dev's promise, he even takes this thing. So the main is that to please the devotee, the Krishna can come down to any form, any place, any time, anything.
Okay, so specifically in this scenario, it was more the other way around, meaning Bhishma Dev is playing that role because actually the Lord wants it. Right, of course, the reciprocation by the Lord is also there. Generally, the Lord, generally devotees would not like the Lord to come as an enemy. But if the Lord wants, the devotee is okay with it. So anyway, so the point is from a pure devotee's perspective, it's always what the Lord wants, and not so much about what he himself wants, that we should keep in mind. So when the Lord desires something, the devotee is okay with whatever it is, right? He doesn't use logic, he doesn't use rational, he doesn't use anything. He just says, okay, if Lord wants it, then I'm ready for it. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, one very last line. That, so he always awards them according to their aspiration. What is this verse in Bhagavad Gita? Can anybody recollect?
Dadami buddhi yogam tamnam yenamaham upayanti.
No, this is according to their aspiration. That is the important part here. Okay, ye yatham am prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamiham. Right, so this is a very, very important verse to understand. Actually, Prabhupada is just saying with respect to impersonalists here, but actually it's also with respect to devotees as well, right? So depending on how we aspire to serve the Lord, Lord reciprocates. So if you want to do how much ever we can, being within our comfort zone, the Lord is okay. But if you want to stretch, go beyond our comfort zone, if we are ready to do anything to please the Lord will reciprocate accordingly. So we should never, many times devotees come and say, like, blame it on Krishna, their current, attachment to bhakti or state of bhakti, saying, oh, Krishna is not giving mercy. No, Krishna, there is no question of Krishna withholding mercy. Krishna is just giving as much as you want. As much as we want, Krishna is giving mercy. We want only so much, actually. We don't want more. We should understand this. Whatever we are asking, whatever we are getting today is what we've asked, especially in the platform of bhakti. So we should understand that, okay, I'm not getting more because I'm not asking for it. So many times we look at, great devotees and say, oh, so fortunate, so nice, this, that, and all that. That's just because the devotee desired and the Lord reciprocated. So we can also desire and the Lord will reciprocate. It's very important to note that we have to move forward. It is on us. It is on us to move forward, right? And if we move forward, Lord is ready. He is fully ready to give us whatever it takes, whatever we want. Okay. And Bhishmadeva aspires to see Lord in his personal feature. All pure devotees aspire for this. So we have to also aspire for this. Okay, I want to show something. If hopefully 1 second. Yeah. Can you all see this? Yeah. Mm. So this is actually how actually Radharani only temple is uh, yellow, golden, but her actually whole complexion is golden. So just imagine this beautiful form of the Lord. If we aspire for it, then Krishna will give us the mercy. He will allow us to see him. So that is why I mean I'm emphasizing this importance of Shravanam, because when we hear about Krishna, mm, obviously I mean he's so different. He's what qualities, what can I mean just I was just thinking today saying I've never seen a blue boy, right? Like what is it to be with him? Hmm? Uh, Seems so special, right? And golden color Radharani. Just imagine their combination. Hmm? Blue and golden. So beautiful. If we aspire for this, then Krishna will give us mercy. He will give us mercy. This is promised in Bhagavad Gita. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamya. So we should aspire for this. Okay. Vijay Ratha Kutumba Atta Totre Dhritahaya Rashmini Tach Yekshaniye Bhagavati Ratirrastu Me Mumurshor Yam Iha Nirikshya Hata Tata Swarupam. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna. Ultimate attraction. Person of Godhead, I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death. An ultimate attraction. Okay, somebody read purport. Yeah.
Perfect. A pure devotee of the Lord constantly sees the presence of the Lord within himself because of being transcendently related by loving service. Such a pure devotee cannot forget the Lord for a moment. This is called trance. The mystic yogi tries to concentrate upon the super soul by controlling the senses from all other engagements, and thus he ultimately attains samadhi. A devotee more easily attains samadhi or trance by constantly remembering the Lord's personal feature along with his holy name, fame, pastimes, etc. Therefore, the concentration of the mystic yogi and that of the devotee are not on the same level. The concentration of the mystic is mechanical, whereas that of the pure devotee is natural in pure love and spontaneous affection. Bhishmadeva was a pure devotee, and as a military marshal, he constantly remembered the battlefield feature of the Lord as Parthasarathi, the chariot driver of Arjuna. Therefore, the Lord's pastime as Parthasarathi is also eternal. The pastimes of the Lord, beginning from his birth at the prison house of Kamsha up to the
Maushala Leela.
Mausala Maushala Leela at the end. All move one after another in all the universes, just as the clock hand moves from one point to another. And then, and in such pastimes, his associates like the Pandavas and Bhishma are constant eternal companions. So Bhishma Deva never forgot. So Bhishma Deva never forgot the beautiful feature of the Lord as Parthasarathi, which even Arjuna couldn't see. Arjuna was behind the beautiful Parthasarathi, while Bhishmadeva was just in front of the Lord. As far as the military feature of the Lord is concerned, Bhishmadeva observed this with more relish than Arjuna. All
Yeah.
the soldiers.
Yeah. So any points? Any significant points to note?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
The difference between the mystic and the devotee.
Yeah.
The trance is not on the same level.
Yeah. What is the
And
difference?
he has to force himself. It is mundane. And here it is a spontaneous love. Like, the spontaneous love for your child, it is so spontaneous. But when this is for uncle, you have to force it to be good.
Yeah. So Prabhupada
And
says the pure devotee is natural in pure love and spontaneous affection. And I've discussed this multiple times that this pure love and spontaneous affection on the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, that is spontaneous affection. So, what does such a devotee do? His spontaneous affection he doesn't show externally. Right? His spontaneous affection he does manasa seva. Spontaneously he serves the Lord in his mind, but externally he follows Vaidhi Bhakti. He follows rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti. So we should not confuse spontaneous affection to be something that is displayed externally. It is very, very important because otherwise it will result in, it might seem like Jia, people might misunderstand, etc., etc. Right? So spontaneous affection is important, but it is not necessarily on the external platform. Okay, yeah. Then what else, Mataji?
And the last thing, like Bhishma Dev, enjoyed because he saw the Lord right in front of him, and Arjuna was behind the Lord. So he could see every emotion of the Lord, even the dust, the small dews, the sweat. It was, it would have been so beautiful, Prabhu. So he enjoyed it more than Arjuna did. The army which was with Bhishma had Bhishma Dev enjoyed seeing the Lord more than the army which was with Arjuna.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything
Prabhu,
else?
actually, the Ashtanga Yoga process finally ultimately culminates with the Samadhi state, which is actually a great difficulty feat. Actually, it's a great feat. But here, devotees achieving it just with the name and pastimes of the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So actually here, devotee may more easily attain samadhi by constantly remembering the Lord's personal feature along with his holy name, fame, pastimes, etc. So please understand that this is the state we have to get to. So why are we chanting Hare Krishna? By chanting Hare Krishna, we should come to this state of constant remembrance of the Lord's form, pastimes, qualities, etc. Meaning, when we take the name, when we chant Hare Krishna, immediately we should get connected to Radha and Krishna, their forms, their pastimes, their qualities, etc. So, it's very important to, so chanting eventually has to lead to this constant remembrance. So constant chanting results in constant remembrance. No, in the initial stages, we are asked to hear, and that goes on for many years for many of us. Because this remembrance of Krishna's form, pastimes, qualities, etc. As soon as we hear the names Hare Krishna, it's not spontaneous. Because the mind spontaneously goes into material things. So, which is why to prevent ourselves from going into material things, we are asked to hear so that the Shravanam process is also purifying. Kirtanam process is anyway purifying. Shravanam process will also become purifying. But eventually, as we make progress, we have to naturally, spontaneously think about the Lord's form, pastimes, etc. When will we spontaneously think about Krishna's form, pastimes, etc.?
Prabhuji, when our
What is?
chanting is pure and offenseless.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
But when will we actually? When will we be able to actually? When will those?
When we
When,
are absorbed, like in reading and Shravanam, more
yeah,
and more reading of Krishna pastime.
spontaneous attraction to Krishna. When we
But,
are
but
spontaneously attracted to Krishna, simply by taking Krishna's name, automatically everything else about him comes to our mind. That is spontaneous attraction. And of course, to reach that stage, if we are doing sadhana bhakti, we have to do serious sadhana bhakti. We have to do serious sadhana bhakti because otherwise our mind is anyway naturally attracted to material things. And if we indulge in those, then the spontaneous attraction to Krishna will never happen. So serious devotional service, hearing for a long time, like yesterday, that snippet that I put on the WhatsApp group day before. Serious devotional service, hearing for a long time. If we are doing these, and obviously parallelly there should be renunciation, um, then naturally the attraction, spontaneous attraction should happen. And when spontaneous attraction happens, automatically when we hear Krishna's name, we'll be able to think about all other aspects. Mm, Okay, read the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat.
Prabhu, why Bhishma waited till Uttarayana for leaving the body?
No, Bhishma did not wait for Uttarayana. Bhishma was completing his, mm, his advice to Yudhishthira, and when he finished the advice, Uttarayana had come. So it's more the reverse, because devotees don't have to wait for any good or bad time because any time they leave is good time. Okay, okay. Can somebody read?
Can I continue, Prabhu, or
Yeah,
somebody?
yeah.
All the soldiers and persons on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original spiritual form like the Lord after their death because by the causeless mercy of the Lord they were able to see him face to face on that occasion. The conditioned souls rotating in the evolutionary cycle from the aquatics up to the form of Brahma are all in the form of Maya or the form attained by one's own action and awarded by material nature. The material forms of the conditioned souls are all foreign dresses, and when the conditioned soul becomes liberated from the clutches of material energy, he attains his original form. The impersonalist wants to attain the impersonal Brahman, effulgence of the Lord, but that is not all congenial,
Congenial. Mm.
congenial to the living sparks, parts and parcel of the Lord. Therefore, the impersonates again fall down and get material forms, which are all false to the spirit soul. A spiritual form, like Lord's, either two-handed or four-handed, is attained by the devotees of the Lord either in the Vaikunthas or in the Goloka planet, according to the original nature of the soul. This form, which is cent percent spiritual, is the Swarupa of the living being. And all living beings who participated on the battlefield of Kurukshetra on both sides attained their Swarupa as confirmed by Bhishmadeva. So Lord Krishna was not merciful only to the Pandavas, he was also merciful to the other parties because all of them attained the same result. Bhishmadeva wanted the same facility also, and that was his prayer to the Lord. Although his position as an associate of the Lord is assured in all circumstances, the conclusion is that whoever dies looking on the personality of Godhead within or without attains his Swarupa, which is the highest perfection of life.
Okay. Okay, any points?
How can we know that this is our Swarupa?
Will be revealed when the time comes. What else? Yeah, Vinod.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So everyone got the Swarupa Prabhu. That means like they all went to the Vaikuntha.
No, their
Swarupa.
Swarupa could be anything. Whatever their Swarupa was, they got it.
Okay. People who have no devotion, like impersonalists, how about them? So I didn't understand this.
No,
Did they
because
get
when you are,
salvation?
yeah, so when you basically elsewhere, this topic is slightly more expanded that when those who got attracted by the Parthasarthi, beautiful form of Krishna, even if they developed a little attraction to Krishna, then they entered the spiritual world. But others, like enemies, they attained Brahman.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So here conclusion is that whoever dies looking on the person you have got it within or without. Within or without meaning either without meaning outside, like Bhishmadeva is able to see Krishna directly in front of him. But whether one is able to see him like that or he sees within. Sees within meaning our smaranam. So at the end of the day, literally end of the day, end of our life, we have to remember Krishna. And the remembrance, based on what we remember, that's what we will get. So constantly, yeah. So we discussed this also. Prabhupada quoted so many verses. Ante Narayana Smriti has to happen. Again, it's the same thing. There aren't so many new things in bhakti, right? It's all the same things which have to be done properly so that we can make progress. So when we read Srila Prabhupada's purports again and again, at one time we might feel like he's saying the same thing again and again. Yeah, he's saying the same thing again and again to a great extent because we are stuck. So to move us, he's saying the same thing again and again. But of course, he says so many other things which gets lost in the midst of all these other things which seem like a repetition because we have not crossed that stage. When we cross that stage, then we will start seeing other things that Srila Prabhupada is writing in his purports, right? But anyway, the important part is that we have to be serious about achieving this perfection. Serious doesn't necessarily mean that we become like, eternally serious. Okay, if somebody's nature is to be jovial, that's fine. No issue. But important thing is the internal gravity has to be there. We have to be grave. The focus should be only one. Ultimate. Ultimately, at the time of giving up this body, we should be able to remember Krishna. So the process for that is constant chanting and hearing. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop here. If there's anything else.
Prabhu, any upcoming Vaishnava etiquette classes or anything?
Not right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else, then we can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what does that mean that attains his Swarupa? I didn't get that.
All of us have a Swarupa. All of us have it's called constitutional position, our original form. So we had a original, we were all there in the spiritual world before we came down to this material world. When we were in that spiritual world, we had a form, we had a seva. So we could have come from Goloka, we could have come from Vaikunta, we could have come from Ayodhya. We have a specific form. We had a specific form, which we forgotten because we came to this material world to enjoy. So our perfection means to again become reinstated in that position, again go back to that same position and continue our service in the spiritual world. That is perfection. So this Swarupa is that form, that original form of ours. So when we do bhakti, gradually this Swarupa is revealed to us. This point of time, we don't know what our Swarupa is. We should not speculate on our Swarupa. We should just wait, do sadhana bhakti nicely, and then eventually this Swarupa will be revealed to us. So we'll know exactly who we are in the spiritual world. Is that okay?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anything else? Okay. भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, वांछाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समवेत गौरव भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।